Alrighty, we'll go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you again for being here. Just before we go into the general roadmap of what we'll be doing today, just want to go over a couple of procedures for all the candidates here. Um, there's only three basically. Any questions asked by audience will be asked of all candidates for the same position with the same amount of time allotted for a response, which is going to be 1 minute for today's session. No candidate may ask questions of other candidates so that there is no way to give an unfair advantage or disadvantage to the candidates on the panel today. And lastly, following the forums, any statements about ASI that are factually incorrect will be addressed on the ASI website fact check section. Now that we did a couple of the procedures for a general roadmap of what we'll be covering, we'll do a 2 minute opening statement from each candidate, followed by 1 minute to answer a general question, 1 minute to answer our positional question, and then we'll leave room for a Q&A session for the audience. Forgot to put questions in the chat, so start thinking about that now, please. And then once they answer that, we'll be doing our 2 minute of closing statements. But with that being said, though, we're going to start off with our Vice President of Finance candidate, Sergio. So you have 2 minutes for your opening statement. And just so you know, Aveli will be keeping track of time. Once you have 30 seconds left, she'll say something in the chat, basically 30 seconds. Once you have 10, she'll say that as well. And if you go over the time, she'll interject. But the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And hello, everybody. My name is Sergio Antonio Maciel Montoya. I'll be running for the Vice President of Finance. The overall encompassing experience that I do bring is that I have served in College Corps, which is known for here on campus to do local communities and supporting, which have founded a lot of my convictions in support. Other experience has been through being an event coordinator here at campus and creating like encompassing spaces. And lastly, helping out with nonprofit within the region of helping out with programs, as well as making sure that we keep the programs during a financial recession was the biggest uptake. And I do believe that was like the biggest kind of like push towards me going into finance. Yes. That would be my opening statement. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. So now that we covered our candidate for Vice President of Finance, we're going to go on over and talk about our Vice President of University Affairs. Manny, the floor is going to be yours for a 2 minute opening statement, and you feel free to begin whenever.
Thank you. Hello, Sacramento State. I'm Emmanuel Fataloni. I'm running for Vice President of University Affairs because I believe that every voice on campus deserves to be heard and every concern addressed. Today, I ask you to join me in transforming the Sacramento State into an environment where all have a hand in shaping our future, a future built on inclusivity, collaboration, and genuine community connection. For me, elevating student voices is not just a promise, it's a commitment. I envision a campus where all of us, whether through ASI committees or direct dialogue with administration, contribute to policy making that reflects our unique needs and ambitions. This is about transforming the traditional channels of communication into a vibrant partnership and community where innovative ideas become real and impactful changes can happen. In our journey together, your perspective isn't just welcome, it's essential in forging a Sacramento State that really embodies our campus as a whole and provides solutions to our complex issues. In addition, I'm deeply committed to elevating and enshrining inclusivity and celebrating the rich diversity found within our student body, where every student, regardless of their background, deserves a safe space that doesn't merely accept their differences, but actively champions them and gives them the right to be here on campus. I will work to ensure that all groups on campus feel valued and have a platform they need to succeed because we honor every facet of our community and that elevates us all. Finally, I want to enhance the overall student experience. The college student experience is about more than just academic growth. It's about forging connections with everybody on campus and having a little bit of fun as well. Thank you for your support. And I know that by working together, we can build a campus community where every voice is amplified and celebrated and every experience matters. And let's create a fun, diverse, dynamic, and dedicated campus like we all are. Thank you.
Thank you, Manny. The floor is now going to be for yours. I believe it's Emeka. Correct me if I'm wrong. But you have a 2 minute opening statement.
All right, perfect. Hi guys, my name is Amaka Okum, and I will be running for Vice President of University Affairs. Some things I'm currently involved in. I think the major one that really impacts my life or takes a lot of my time on the Division 1 rowings team, so kind of more on the athletic side. But with that, even just being a student athlete on campus and being involved with different associations within campus. I'm part of the Black Student Athlete Alliance. Even outside of this, I work um, as the chair of external affairs, the nonprofit that actually takes place in Nigeria, where we provide healthcare to people who live there. So that's kind of just my experiences on boards and stuff. When it comes to what I would love and what I'm promoting to see on campus, is most definitely more student engagement, and of course having a board that represents the entire student body. I think that is the way a campus should run and should always represent itself. You can't. It's hard to speak for all people if all people of all different backgrounds aren't also having a voice and sitting on the board. As we know, Sac State's a great campus, but there's a lot of places to have improvement. One of them being communication between faculty and students. Students feeling a little bit washed out when it comes to certain decisions. So when it comes to my mission and my plan is to bridge a lot of these gaps, because when you bridge the gaps, misinformation also spreads a lot less. And for what I'm seeing, I think that's something that most definitely needs to be done. And also students stop attacking you, right? Like all they want is just an open chance and at the seat at the table as well. And so, yeah, that's what I plan to bring. Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you. Now that we've done our Vice President of University Affairs candidates, we're going to go on over and talk about the Vice President of Academic Affairs. Starting off with Jen, you now have 2 minutes for your opening statement.
Thank you so much, Tyler. Mabuhay Hornets. My name is Jen Galanado, and I'm honored to be here today as your current Vice President of Academic Affairs and a candidate for re-election. Serving as your Vice President of Academic Affairs has been one of the most meaningful experiences of my academic journey, as it is an opportunity to represent the voices, the needs, and aspirations of Sacramento State's 31,500 students. Over the past year, I've had the opportunity to work very closely with the Division of Academic Affairs, Faculty Senate, and various campus stakeholders to ensure that your voices are at the very heart of every decision being made, ensuring our academic future, whether it was co-authoring a resolution to support discovery pathways, reinstating an internship program, or even standing firm against the proposed 8% budget cuts that threaten the accessibility and equity of our higher education. I've been unwavering in my commitment to protecting and enhancing your academic experience. But higher education is at a crossroads. Let's be so real. Rising tuition, potential college mergers, and again, an 8% budget cut that's being proposed at the governor's office are not abstract challenges. These are barriers to your success and dreams to degrees. As your Vice President of Academic Affairs, I have fought and will continue to fight for your legislative advocacy that brings out your concerns directly to the policymakers who make and shape our futures. Looking ahead, my vision is very bold and clear and sweet and simple, advocating for investments in higher education to safeguard affordability and equity, enhancing support for transfer and first-year students to strengthen enrollment and retention, promoting equitable graduation and transfer rates, and in addition, educating students about process, and policies like great appeals to empower students' academic navigation while celebrating Sac State's diversity through curriculum that bridges both the cultural and academic aspects of our mission. So Sac State deserves leadership that not only listens, but takes action. So on April 16th and 17th, I humbly ask for your vote to continue serving as your Vice President of Academic Affairs, because together I believe we can lead Sac State with a stronger, brighter, and more equitable future. So vote Jangal Lanado for Vpaa, because when students are empowered, we lead the very way forward first. Thank you, and maraming salamat po.
Thank you. Thank you. Iris, you now have 2 minutes for your opening statement.
Hello, everyone. My name is Iris Palencia. I am also running for Vice President of Academic Affairs. Following my first year of Sac State, I've come out with the understanding that Sac State is the epitome of diversity, resilience, and kindness. I have been able to meet and work alongside a variety of students who want to see our school progress and give back to our community within Sac State. My time volunteering with ASI and participating in our schools events has given me the ability to see SAC through multiple different perspectives of all the students and the needs of students here at Sacramento State. I want to bring to light the idea that education should be available to anyone who wants to pursue it. And I vow to be that voice and helping hand and be able to guide our students through their academic journeys, despite the hardships that may come with it. Overall, my main goals are to be a voice for our students' wants and needs, actively encourage SAC students to listen in on board meetings and ASI events, to apply to scholarships, and to create more of those scholarships, create opportunities and action plans to improve academic performance, and have a variety of workshops to inform and educate more so these students on what they have at the tip of their fingers and what more we could fight for, as well as but most importantly, I would want to advocate for our rights as students. And on April 16 and 17, I ask for your time and support. I have confidence that I will hear what students need and create even more impactful ways to lead to students' academic success. I will do this through my willingness to be dedicated, resilient, and have a strong voice for all students. Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you, Iris, and thank you everyone for providing us those opening statements. We'll now move on to our general question. Now, the general question will be the same for all candidates present. And I can also drop it in the chat for y'all for accessibility purposes as well. Starting off though, we're gonna do Sergio. Can you share a specific example from your past experience that demonstrates your leadership qualities either on campus or within the community? Once again, can you share a specific example from your past experience that demonstrates your leadership qualities either on campus or within the community? And you have 1 minute to respond.
Perfect. Yes. So a lot of it is coordinating with departments. A lot of it is with conversation. When you're creating an event, especially when it's for students, you have to make sure that you have the funding, two, the people manning it, as well as three, the conversation and time management, and being able to do all three aspects within a timely manner to not only not stress core the people that you're coordinating this with, but also make sure that it is a smooth transition. Doing this for multiple series within the campus and being able to do that and seeing the impact of students coming in and saying like, thank you, I found a friendship here. Those are like what for me the leadership is, being able to create that environment for students. Yes.
Thank you, Sergio. We're going to circle back to Manny for this questions in the chat now of sharing a specific example either in or with outside of the community of that demonstrate your leadership qualities.
Yes, the specific example I have is working within the Guardian Scholars Program. Starting sometime last year, or actually a couple years ago, I was able to speak on behalf of Guardian Scholars and advocate for donations for the program because it's a lot of some of the funding that supports students through Guardian Scholars is through donations from the community of Sac State and just alumni that have been around Sac State. And really, what I was able to do is get a collaborative effort going between GSP, administration and the president's office, as well as some of the donors just to highlight some of the needs that the program has and stuff like that. And I was able to get a little bit more funding for the students. And I'm just doing that. I did student feedback, was a team player. I didn't take any credit for anything like that. I just focused on solely the advocacy and the applicable actions that followed afterwards.
I'm sorry, I was muted the entire time. Omika, it is now your chance to speak for this 1 minute general question.
Yeah, I would say I think a specific example for my past or just community. I'm a huge advocate for mental health resources. That is something that lacks, I think, in a lot of departments, but a big one that it lacks in is within the athletic department. And so I want to say my freshman year and my sophomore year, I went ahead and kind of was just talking to people within athletics and kind of advocating for the mental health of student athletes. of just our general student population, because it is very hard to operate when your mental is not good. And during that, we were able to bring in some therapists, whether they were able to stay or not. But I think that most definitely made a positive impact. And even now, I still continue to push to advocate to bring in more mental health resources, and to really also talk to the students to talk to students as well, so that we are hearing what the students have to say, and especially what student athletes and their concerns are. Because for me, it all starts in the brain before anything else. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. We're now going to go on over and go to our Vice President of Academic Affairs candidates. Jen, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much again, Tyler, and thank you for the great question. There are a multitude of examples I could pull from, but more particularly, I want to pull from the experiences I've had in higher education. Right now in my role, I've been able to spearhead a multitude of efforts to increase student representation on faculty senate committees, to ensure that students are at the very forefront when it comes to policy and also what's going on in the academic world, because higher education, for anybody that knows, is a beast. And when students are in there, people listen. This initiative was very much deeply rooted in my commitment to ensuring that students' voices, especially from diverse backgrounds, were integral to shaping these policies. This effort not only amplified the number of students and seats on these committees, but also led to more inclusive policies that better address the needs of our students in our campus community. And more so, this experience had reinforced my belief in the power of student advocacy and teamwork, and highlighted my ability to create initiatives and lead those initiatives that create tangible improvements for Sac State students and better serving the entirety of the Sac State community, and something that I'm very much eager to further continue should I come back to this role.
Righty, thank you. Iris, the floor is yours.
Thank you. One way I could share a specific example that demonstrates my leadership on campus is through classrooms. I think a big thing is, while we're students and also running for this, we're speaking for the students. And a way that I show this is by bringing to light issues that we all face, and hearing from one another perspectives of what affects them, and speaking on it in classrooms, and creating a place where it's safe to speak from. I think just having someone to stand up for everybody else is a way I'm able to show that leadership. Because sometimes it's scary for other people to talk for themselves. We need that one person to collectively come together and address issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Iris. Now that we've did our general question, I'm now going to pose a positional question, and this is going to be different for all three cohorts, basically. Starting off with Sergio, though, and I'm going to drop this question in the chat for you as well. What experience have you had that would assist you in contributing to the financial oversight of ASI's approximately $13 million budget? Once again, what experience have you had that would assist you in contributing to the financial oversight of ASI's approximately $13 million budget? And you have 1 minute to respond.
Perfect. So one of my experience prior to being in college was being a head coach of a rec team. Within a rec team, we were having multiple different programs. So there is the competitive side, there's the recreational side, and then there's the bridging between. So altogether, imagine 3 different cohorts that you have to keep in track of. So the timeline, the budgeting, the correlation. So all of that is leading up to this bigger, more encompassing campus being 13 million, being able to upscale those skills to be able to match the coordination in different departments, different ability to make sure that I do have great coordination with the student body, and making sure that everything that is met in a timely manner. A lot of it is making sure that it's efficient and all the students are able to experience a good overall campus. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergio. We're now going to go over to our Vice President of University Affairs candidates. This question is going to be, what knowledge and recruitment experience do you have to encourage students to serve on university committees? And what actions will you take to ensure a high number of students volunteer sign up for university and ASI internal committees? Once again, the question is, What knowledge and recruitment experience do you have to encourage students to serve on university committees? And what actions will you take to ensure a high number of students volunteer, sign up for university and the ASI internal committees? And then Manny, you're going to start us off with this question.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. I just was waiting for the confirmation. So let me see. Sorry. Can I get the question in the chat, please? Because I know it was a pretty lengthy one. I apologize.
No, you're totally fine. Give me one moment to finish typing it out and I can drop it in the chat for you. Alrighty, it should be in there. You have 1 minute to respond on your first word.
Thank you for the question. So really for me, when it comes to student committees and stuff, they're highly important because they really influence the policy and stuff that can be created with ASI's backing to take the administration and create change. And one way I would just ensure that students volunteer and sign up for these committees is really just blasting on social media, probably hosting some listening sessions or info sessions. Just what is a committee? What do they do? Kind of just like tangible breakdowns, just, they don't have to be long in general, like maybe just a 15, 20-minute meeting, just getting people or students involved into these committees and stuff, and just trying to showcase most of the committees that are available just to gauge the student interest and stuff like that. And so my knowledge about them is pretty intensive in terms of how they operate and just how you can appoint to the committee and just what they thoroughly do as well on campus.
Thank you, Manny. The same question now goes to you, Amaka, and it should be in the chat.
Yeah, when it comes to committees and kind of recruiting people for these committees, I think one thing that's really important is obviously getting to the people, but it's how you get to the people, right? Like we can put posters up on campus and we can blast stuff on social media, but that only reaches the certain demographic.
Oh, I'm sorry. It looks like we lost Omega. Um, we can circle back to her when she comes back. But for right now, let's just transition on over to the Vice President of Academic Affairs candidates. I'm going to drop the question in the chat once I read it off 2 times. But how would you address the dilemma of balancing a quality education with the timely completion of graduation requirements? Once again, how would you address the dilemma of balancing a quality education with timely completion of graduation requirements?
Well, thank you so much again for the question, Tyler. And as a student, I get it. I've faced those challenges myself. And also, I've again seen them firsthand. Balancing a quality education with timely graduation requires a lot of proactive support and strategic planning. And that's something that the provost, our new provost, Dr. Erica Cameron, is currently in the works of doing so that every student's dream of a degree is fulfilled. As the VPAA, I would focus on enhancing academic advising by streamlining services to ensure that students receive personalized, timely guidance that aligns with their career goals and graduation timelines. Additionally, I would advocate for expanding hybrid and flexible course options, which already are something offered through the statewide system level. And this would allow students to have more control over their schedules without sacrificing that academic rigor. This, and really, I'm referring to CSU Online now that the policy has changed for students to take more than one class, but you can take a multitude of classes and any additional resources to further help them navigate through their academic paths within academic affairs. It is especially those that we protect, we especially educate students on the appeals process, the extensions and justice. Those are all policies that we need to ensure that we are educating students on so that they don't face academic burnout when they are in the academic processes. When we clearly communicate these available resources and pathways, it's key and it ensures students' success. And once students understand that, they'll have the tools to succeed and we can for sure empower them to graduate on time.
Thank you. We're going to go on over and finish with Iris. Once Iris answers their question, Amaka, we're going to come back to you for that question. But Iris, the floor is yours.
Thank you. A way I would address the dilemma of balancing a quality education with timely completion of graduation requirements is offering office hours that are available to students, also workshops that they are able to voice their concerns and where they struggle personally, and create surveys asking questions for students so that they could express themselves fully and voice their needs and opinions. Another thing is with professors, talk to professors in ways where they could also tell students and advise them to attend their office hours, go to their office hours, see what they need to complete in order to get to that graduation status and not have them struggle, but go to them for advice.
Thank you for both of y'all for answering that question. Amaka, we're going to circle back to you for your question. It seemed like you cut out a little bit halfway through, but the question is, what knowledge and recruitment experience do you have to encourage students to serve on university committees? And what action will you take to ensure a high number of student volunteer sign up for ASI internal committees and the university-wide ones?
Sorry about that. My phone overheated. Yeah, like as I was saying, I think it's very important to create connections and connecting with students. So in that sense, when it comes to recruiting for ASI, sometimes it does involve someone going into the classrooms and being like, hey, like this is a committee that I think would either benefit your major, would benefit you. This is something you could you should try. Because for me personally, I didn't know about ASI committees. I really had to go looking for it to find answers about it. And so I do believe it's important. It's more important than just posters and social media. It's actually going into classrooms. It's talking to professors. Hey, do you have someone that you might recommend for this committee? Hey, do you know someone? Can you blast this to your class? And I think that would bring in honestly a large amount of people and maybe even bring in a higher retention rate because you're getting students who are really like, oh, like this might actually benefit me in the future. Like I'm going to stay in this and continue to improve myself and just improve myself academically as well as being able to improve my campus as well. Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you all candidates for answering those preset questions. We'll now be taking questions directly from the audience. And just to reiterate, we cannot take any questions from candidates to ask another candidate just for their purposes, essentially. But feel free to send me a direct message with any questions you may have. I already have one that we're about to pose in the group, the chat basically. But yeah, feel free to send me those messages basically. But for this first question, I'm going to put it in the chat and then it's going to go back to Sergio to answer first. It seems like you are all very involved on campus and want to take up more responsibility. How do you plan on taking care of yourself in addition to your board responsibilities? You want to help the campus community. However, do you prioritize your mental health as well? And this is going to be 1 minute response, and this is going to start off with Sergio.
Perfect. That's an amazing question, actually. I do believe that you have to take care of yourself in order to take care of others. So I take my mental health really seriously, which means being able to understand how much you can take, knowing like no or like delegating it, and building a community that you can trust. So as much as I am going for VPF, I'm going to rely a lot on my university counterparts for help, and I'm going to rely on my committee for delegating in the knowledge base and being able to be like, hey, this is what we want to create for everybody, and not just taking it all by myself. And another aspect would be making sure that I do have good time management. I want to make sure that I partake, one, in the outreach for students, because being VPF, you want to make sure you talk to the student body, but also make sure that you have time to complete homework, to make sure that you have time to relax. I'm still a student after all, and being able to balance all those counterparts. Thank you so much. That's a great question.
Alrighty, we're gonna go on over to Manny now for Vice President of University Affairs.
Yes, I am a believer that self-care is the best care when it comes to mental health and stuff. And personally, for me, I'm super laid back, so I'm just gonna to take care of myself is eating some good food, working out, walking around campus, and even just talking to students and stuff like that, just kind of giving a daily reset. I'm also an avid gamer in my free time, so maybe playing some video games and stuff and just relaxing. These are just things that are just outlets for me. I also listen to music as well too. So these are just things that are just outlets for me. And usually trying a new food kind of resets me and stuff like that, and just enjoying the little things and stuff as well. So those are things that help me with my mental health, and I will always take any food recommendations from anybody. That's it.
Thank you, Manny. Oh my God, the question goes to you now, and it should be in the chat.
Yeah, like I think mental health, as I said, is like the most important thing about like anything you do, and especially as you as a person. Some things that I do personally, I've been in therapy for about 4 years, and I think that's been the best decision I've made for myself to step into that space. But outside all of that, I love going on walks. I love reading. And I've learned to say no to things that I can't handle. So if it kind of gets to the point where I feel overwhelmed, I'm not afraid to be like, no, like this is not the right time for that, whether I delegate it to someone else or whether we find a different strategy. So maybe the work that needs to be done is still getting done. It just might be at a later time. But I fully believe in the power of saying no to things while also being able to take care of yourself and stepping outside when you can, if you like touching some grass, like you said, eating some good food, anything like that. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you, both of y'all. Jen, the question now goes to you.
That's a great question. And I will admit, I learned the hard way that I needed to put myself first above anything else. Before I'm a student leader, I'm a student first. That's why the word student is in there before student leader. And many, many times people will joke around that how I best take care of me and protecting my like mental health is I have designated floor time. Like, don't even ask what it is, but I trust and believe it does wonders for you if you're just laying down on the floor for about 15 minutes, and it does wonders for you because it clears your head and all those things. It makes you forget about everything that's going on in the world. Well, there's that. I also have a great support system of people that I can vent to, people I can cry to, somebody that I can go and get great food like everyone's talking about here, and also someone that understands my struggles, especially given that I'm Filipino American. There's a whole another set of challenges that I oversee there. And similarly, I also see a therapist as well that has been so incredibly crucial in addition to my support system. So it's someone that I know can check in with me. So thank you.
Thank you, Jen. The question goes now to you, Iris.
Thank you. Um, some ways I like to take care of myself and prioritize myself. Especially if I do take on this big role because it's a big role. It's not small. It comes with a lot of responsibilities and on top of other responsibilities as a student. And I think a way is setting aside time for myself and focusing solely on myself and things I like to do, like go on a hike and like everybody else said, eat some food, relax. I'm also a firm believer in God, and I like to meditate through the Bible a lot. And I think that's just my main thing is actually setting time for myself and knowing how much I can handle and not taking on too much or double booking or doing too many things at once when I know I can't handle it.
Thank you all for answering that first question. We have two more, it looks like. I'm going to drop this one in the chat right now. But Sergio, we're going to come back to you to answer the second question. How will you maintain a professional relationship with those that you may disagree with on specific topics or issues? Once again, how you maintain a professional relationship with those who you may disagree with on specific topic or issues?
Good question. I like to say frame the conversation is a lot to do with it. We both understand that we're advocates for our own community and even our own position. So being at conflict is something that's going to happen. But at the end of the day, our hope and our goal is to make sure that the students are being represented, whether it is the financial lens, whether it is getting involved in engagement. And a lot of it is just having those understanding, and then when it comes to conflict, leading with curiosity, not being right. Why are you trying to do this? What's the purpose of doing that? And then maybe you can collaborate and create that third option. It's never one black or white, but rather right in the middle. And I personally strive for that, and making sure that each conversation is stated within that, saying like, hey, I want to collaborate. I do believe in your goals, but let's do feasible. Let's scale it up or down based on the impact that we can do. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergio. We're not going to go to you, Manny, for the same question. It should be in the chat.
Thank you. Yeah, for this one, when it comes to maintaining perceptional relationships, I've done that throughout my whole career academically. And really it's just all about finding middle ground with people. Even those you may disagree with, you may not have a middle ground, right? But you'll come to a consensus of an understanding that, hey, we can work together even though we agree to disagree. And really, it's just treating them and remembering we're all people that have our own experiences, that have our own ideas. And in a fast moving environment, in an environment where so much change can happen so quickly, you just have to, um, maintain that boundary of saying, hey, we're disagreeing on this issue. But that doesn't necessarily mean I don't like you as a person and stuff. And just keep it friendly, have some, friendly banter and stuff. I usually try to make people laugh, outside of the professional realm, just to show like, hey, we had a deep discussion, but we're still cool. So it's just really recognizing them as a person and trying to find a middle ground for me.
Thank you, Manny. This question that goes to you, Amaka.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. People that I don't agree with. And I think that's honestly, actually, there's something very cool and special about that because when you don't agree with a person, there's always something you can learn from that person. And that's kind of the perspective I kind of take going into every situation. Like, okay, me and this person don't have different views, but there's a reason they believe they believe what they believe, and there's a reason why I believe what I believe. So why don't we learn from each other? And when you kind of approach it in that sense, it lets down this weird, like this interesting barrier is kind of just like out the door, right? Because it's like, yeah, we don't see eye to eye, but I respect them as a person. Because first and foremost, people deserve respect, right? And so it's like if I'm able to respect you as a person, then I wouldn't have a problem like respecting you as a colleague, or even if we don't see eye to eye. And so that's kind of what I try to take into every situation with people, whether I agree with or disagree with.
Thank you. We're now going to go on over to Jen, please, in the questions in the chat.
Well, thank you again for the question. And, that's a really great question. And as a board, you're supposed to disagree. And that's the beauty of being on a board, is having disagreements, because the way I see a disagreement is that is a perspective that I am not thinking about in the moment before I make a decision. That is informing me better. And I have a lot of respect when someone disagrees with me, both publicly and privately. So I mean, when there's a decision made at the board, right, and we disagree on it, right? Whatever the decision made of the board is made of the board, and we need to unify with each other when that decision is made, whether we agree with it or disagree with it. But the minute we are with our ASI hats off, I still see you as a person before any of that, because you have a perspective, you have an opinion, and you have the right to have that and express that even in the meeting. So for me, it's simple. I see you as someone in the boardroom, and then I also see you as someone else the minute the boardroom, outside of the boardroom as well. So that's how I would do it. Thank you, Tyler.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Iris, the question now goes to you.
Thank you. Okay, I think it's important to find that why. Like, why do they see it that way, or why do we disagree? Why is there that bridge, or you see your view that way, or you have that certain opinion, or that topic, or that certain opinion on that topic or issue. And I think being able to, like everyone else said, learn from one another and not create this chaos of an environment, but actually listen and be open ears, and also create a respectful environment on on the board and off the board, whether you see each other, while on campus or while you're in that office. Remain respectful, I think, is the biggest thing.
Alrighty, thank you all for answering those questions from the audience. Thank you, audience, for providing us those questions. Due to time's sake, though, we're going to move on over and do our closing statements from each of our candidates, where you now have 2 minutes each. We're going to start off with how we started things off initially. Sergio, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much. The closing statement for me is I welcome this, hopefully, to provide the students with a approach to finance with integrity, transparency, and heart. Again, at the bottom of this whole candidacy is a person of service, and we want to make sure that when you are coming into campus, that you are well off, whether it is scholarships for housing, food, and then other things that may come up surprisingly or unforeseen. And hopefully I'll get your vote. Come on out April 16th, 17th. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sergio. Manny, now the question goes to you.
Thank you. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you for this forum, and that I envision a campus where every student's voice shapes our policies and diversity is celebrated and our community thrives on unity and innovation. And I look forward to just partnering with you all as the student body and administration to ensure your ideas become actionable, and that we can actually get our needs met. Our commitment to inclusivity honors every background and identity, creating spaces where all the voices are elevated and enshrined, and will enrich the campus experiences through, our academics as well as our social connections. So you all as a student body can feel at home. And I just ask for your trust and your vote on the April 16th and 17th as we celebrate Sacramento State to the university that we want it to be, and we can share that defined success and create a lasting impact on campus. And we can share the same blueprint and vision. So together we can elevate Sac State. Thank you.
Thank you. We're now going to go to Omaka, please.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I want to say thank you so much for this forum and this opportunity to answer some great questions. As I stated, like my mission is to make sure that the people on campus, that your guys' voice is heard, in all spaces, in the arts, within sports, academically, musically, everything. Because I do believe that every person and every student has a seat at the table. And I really hope that I do earn your vote in order to advocate for a lot of for policies that better improve student life, because I do believe that Sac State is great and can always become greater, as a campus that does push for diversity inclusion. There's always places where there can always be improvements, and I really hope to be that person to make those improvements alongside with people on the board and just honestly an awesome ASI committee. Don't forget to come to the ballots April 16th and 17th, and I really do hope I earn your guys' vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Jen, we're now going to go to you now for your closing statement, please.
Well, thank you everybody for taking the time to join us today and engage with us on an important conversation about the future of our campus. And as we conclude this forum, I want to leave you with a very clear message that I am here and I'm ready to serve, ready to listen, and ready to lead on the behalf of every single student here at Sacramento State. Fighting for equitable access to resources, standing up against budget cuts, and ensuring that student voices are integral and central to the decisions that shape our very academic experiences are so integral to my mission. But I do know that there's so much work to be done. Higher education in itself is at a crossroads, and the challenges that we face, whether it be from the rising costs to the limited resources and even the systematic inequities, require bold, compassionate, experienced leadership. I'm committed to addressing these head on by advocating for increased funding in education, enhancing support for our first year and transfer students, while fostering an inclusive academic environment where every single student can thrive. I firmly believe in the power of collaboration and action. And should I be reelected today, I'm sorry, on April 16th and 17th, I will continue to fight for your interests and ensure that every decision that I make reflects the diverse needs and dreams of each and every one of our members that is a hornet in our hive. Together, we can build a stronger foundation for academic success that bridges the gap, that holds students back, and creates opportunities to empower every single hornet with the ability to soar. So again, on April 16th and 17th, I ask for your vote to continue this important work. Vote Jen Galanado for Vpaa because your voice matters to be heard, and together we can lead Sac State towards a brighter, more equitable future. And ultimately, because when students are empowered, they ultimately lead the way forward first in academic affairs. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And then Iris, to close this out for today.
Thank you. I want to thank everyone for being here, and I think it was a wonderful time. For me, I want to be that bridge for students and those with higher positions and close that bridge off and be able to create multiple opportunities for everybody and have Sac State remain an affordable university because it's what we need, especially during these times. Another thing is I would love to lead with transparency, resilience, and encourage everybody to continue on with their academic journeys and not be discouraged through these multiple difficulties they may be facing, because it's easy to get discouraged with that, but it's also we need to be empowered with unity. And I think if we're united, we will create a stronger and safer environment for everybody on Sac State, and we could eventually get to goals quicker. And that's my closing statement. Thank you.
So many thank yous, but one more. Thank you all for being here today, and especially the audience members for participating. In the words of Sabrina Carpenter, please, 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 please vote next week from April 16th and 17th and encourage other people to vote as well. But I hope you all have a good rest of your day, and hopefully you will be at the next candidate forum that will conclude for today with our presidential tickets. But bye, everyone.